What's up? What's up? I'm back. Um, this is going to tie into what spaces are we in and how we evolve and how we be growing. But essentially, when we're watching TV shows, when we're watching movies, we're basically looking for ourselves in these movies. And for instance, I get right into it. Like, think about it as a young man. Like, you wouldn't want to watch a chick flick because you won't necessarily, wouldn't nobody in there really resonate with you. Like, so it's a good chance you won't be looking for yourself in that movie. Whenever we even go to decide to go watch certain shows or watch certain movies, because we feel a certain level of confidence and finding ourselves in that show somehow, and that's why we even get entertained by it, because we have some type of way of resonating with it. Like, if we didn't have any resonation with it, it wouldn't even sit, or it wouldn't even like necessarily affect us, I guess you would say. It kind of goes back to um I thought I seen a cop snooping around. It was a medical dude for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but he kind of threw me off. You find yourself, and if you didn't watch these shows, you wouldn't necessarily resonate with them. But I'm trying to think what I was gonna say. It's like being grounded. Like, how could you be grounded to something that you're not attracted to? And that's with certain movies that go on. Like, for instance, I know this is far out, but if you don't speak a different language, it's a good chance you're not watching that movie unless it has some type of way you can connect with it. And for us, like, we watch Chinese and action movies and kung fu, and you get the Wu Tangs and all that shit. Yeah, you get the subtitles and all that shit, but even then, the fighting we connect to, that mentality that we have to go through, and protecting yourself, and just being the coldest nigga out there, having to fight 4 or 5 niggas, and being like getting jumped and seeing your way through it. So it's ways to connect with shit that's got language barriers. So if you really didn't resonate with it, bro, you're not even gonna cut that shit on to any like level. So it's like, for me, I'm not watching no reality shows with no fucking love and hip hop and shit. Like, I don't see myself in none of them shows. So no offense to anybody that does. We're gonna talk about that too. But no offense to anybody that does. But for the most part, like, I don't see myself in those shows. I'm not a drama filled person. I never like drama. That shit get on my nerves. I hate gossip. I hate all that shit. So I never would want to watch people live their life through that. So I don't find myself in those shows. And yeah, through time, like I said, bro, we just be growing and constantly watching different things and constantly finding ourselves through time. Like, I hop into one of my other points. Like, I was just talking when we was with Robert and Darius, who was just going through, I think, some of his movies and shit, and then we just started talking about some of the movies we watched, and it's like, this was before we became friends. Maybe Darius and Robert was already friends, but this was before we even became friends. And basically, like, they watched Limitless, I watched Limitless. Um, they watched a certain movie, I watched a certain movie. It's like, damn, bro, it's crazy that we watch some of the same ones, but over time, you gotta think we watch the same music, we like the same music, we like the same everything. So it comes to a point where, nigga, we were attracted to be friends just off of the same shit we was already not. I'll go ahead and get into my question. I'm kind of skipping ahead. Don't want to get my question. I'm gonna leave the question alone. But like I said, I'm gonna get into it when I get into it. But I need to slow it down a little bit. But going back into, like I said, just we watch certain movies. We love comics. We like all these different things. This is a bunch of different variables of ourselves that we all kind of resonate with each other in a sense, from sports to like I said, the movies and all the different music and stuff like that. It shows you how you gravitate to who you fucking be around, at least for the moment or whatever. It depends on, like I said, how you resonate. But I ain't even said it yet. But like I thought, that shit funny. But that's good. That's good. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. She doing good. Well, yeah, it's the same whenever you're reading this shit, bro. You're reading that book to find yourself. Like, it's not as clear cut because there's no cool characters you can watch and be like, oh yeah, I want to be like The Rock in that movie, or I want to be like Kevin Hart in that movie, or I want to be like so. it's a little different. But when you start to read these books, you start to be like, oh damn, I think that too. I'm not the only one that used to think that. And you see how you start finding and resonating and even connecting to certain stuff that you was like I said, with books and shit, it's not as clear cut because you don't see visuals and shit. So you're like, damn, how did I even get attracted to this book? How did this book know me? Like, why are we so connecting so well? Like, you feel like it's a personal best friend. And a lot of times when somebody get a book they can love, obviously the Bible and shit, that's really their best friend. That's who they're gonna go to. That's what morals, sometimes it's not always morally, but that's what, when they need some drive or when they need some guidance or when they need confidence, like they might go back to that book and some things that they remember connecting to in that book because it hit home. And for instance, I've been practicing Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I've read that book probably 3 or 4 years ago. I think back with that book a lot. There's certain books that has affected me, or Emerald Tablets. There's certain things that affected me to a point where it resonates so well. I can just go back in a sense of connecting to that, and going back to be grounded to, you know, some things that I feel connected to in special moments or whatever, or certain moments that I had in life. And this go to whenever YouTube, a person would be like, you're here for a reason, like you wouldn't even be watching my videos. And basically what they're saying is like you got into enough spaces, or that's even like you tapped into a couple different spaces to where you was able to view into my space somehow, some way. You found me out of millions of other people talking whatever the fuck they're talking and spewing and whatever the fuck they're spewing. Somehow you found me through whatever series of fucking channels you went through. Somehow you found my shit and got it suggested or recommended, but it's through a series of entering a bunch of different spaces, or you could say with the algorithm that they have, going through a bunch of different things that's connected somehow with the tags and all that shit. Eventually you ran across the tags that match to get to my video. And you may oppose my video, you might be neutral, you may whatever, but it's something that you connected to somehow, for some way to learn from. Like I said, even it's to be not like me or to be somewhat like me or to just learn, like whatever, just saying, like that's what these YouTuber, anybody that say, like, if you just, the fact that you was in this space was just because of some way being connected. Like when they say it's not about who you know, it's about what you know. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. It's kind of in that same vein of understanding. It's not about, it is about what you know. It is about who you know, and all that kind of, it all kind of summarizes to put you in different spaces and shit like that. Because if you had one without the other, say you had what you know, but you say you don't know anything, but you know a bunch of people, which is kind of like, why would a bunch of people you want to fuck with, whatever. But just say you did have connections, like those connections are valuable because you don't know anything to even make those connections valuable. But say it's the same thing, you have valuable knowledge but you don't have any connection. It's always one or the other, you know. Like, it's not about who you know, it's about what you know. No, it's about both, nigga, if you really want to break down that statement. But like I said, you can know it all, but if you don't have any connections, it's hard to put out that source of information or what you know. So it's a balance of what you know, who you know, and that brings you into different spaces over time. And like I said, that's how what these YouTubers and any other, like if you get to a book or even if it's like one of those occult movies and shit, like, nigga, this is an underground movie or this is an underground artist. Like, this is not something mainstream that everybody's just showing. So this is not something that, like, even when you see mainstream shit, it's some people that don't know who the fuck Drake is. It might be more white people, but they have different mainstreams. Everybody got different streams, even though it might be a mainstream, it may be a huge stream. It's only relativity to other people in a sense, or it's relative to us. Like, it's big to us, but to other people it has no relativity at all. And so back to, like I said, with the what I was saying with the mainstreams, what was I saying with the mainstreams? Yeah, with the underground artists and shit. Like, nigga, how the fuck you find underground artists? How the fuck you find underground knowledge that's been hidden and not really shared to the majority of people? The fact that you found that is a matter of what you know, who you know, because somebody may have put you onto that because of whatever connection of what y'all know. So, like, for me, Robert and Decal put me on Wiz Khalifa for sure. And even through them, fucking with Robert or fucking with D-Friend, fucking with somebody, I end up getting cool with Shit Daniel, and he put me on the Lil Wayne Ransom and with Drake, and from there, like, I've never stopped fucking with Wiz. I never stopped fucking with Drake, in the sense of just on some, I was whoever the fuck I was. I got friends for whatever fucking reasons of what I knew or whatever the fuck I was, and from those connections, they put me on the people, or they put me on the other music that made me grow, and that wasn't necessarily out big at the time, because nobody was fucking with Drake at that time. Like, this was when I was in fucking 8th or 9th grade, 2000 fucking, like, I don't even fucking remember. It was like 8. It had to be like, it was either when Obama got elected or right before Obama got elected. Like, it was around those times, like, the first time. So, yeah, it was underground. It was a cult in a sense at that moment. And the fact that you find those in those moments is for certain different reasons or whatever. And like I said, it just kind of all accumulate or whatever. And that's how you end up connecting with people even more. Like, imagine when you go, like, when I talked about Reddit and all that shit, and the spaces of Star Wars, and I ain't even really get into it, but think about when these people have Star Wars conventions. People find their wives and shit like that at these conventions. When they go to these Star Treks and these Comic Cons and shit, people be finding their mates because, nigga, they are physically, I mean, they love this movie so much. It resonated with them so much. They were so involved. They went to so many different things. It's like church. Most people, when you're so involved in church, you meet somebody at church that you love. It's the same thing. It's not necessarily they're going all out necessarily. It's close. They dress up all the different shit, but it's kind of in the same fashion, bro, where you find somebody you love that's on the same shit that you on. And it's due through whatever spaces and things that you seen yourself in, bro, and you found yourself more and more as you kept going on, and eventually end up finding more connections through that space or whatever. But why did I even talk about the marriage thing? I said that for a reason, but I low-key lost that connection to what I was trying to say. But yeah, man, basically I was saying build more friends and shit, build more connections through the things you love. You find like-minded people. You find it. So that's kind of thing too, where people that don't kind of have friends or don't really have people they feel really resonate to, like, they just feel like they got a bunch of BS friends or temporary friends. That means you don't really have anything that you resonate to. You're kind of trendy. So the things that you kind of fuck with change. So when you fuck with shit that change, like, one minute you might be clubbing, so you got clubbing friends that you might fuck with. Another minute you might be spiritual, so you got the spiritual friends you fuck with. Another minute you might want to be fighting and shit, you got the fighting friends. Another minute you are the girls that like to just dress up and take pictures, so you be with them. Like, everybody don't do the same shit, so that's why you kind of flip friends so much, because it's all kind of stems from it ain't even it stems from what you fuck with at the moment. So if you truly resonate with shit, if you truly like have something that you grounded to, you're going to be able to build stronger connections with that shit, because it's not temporary things. And the longer you, like, this is goes to the spaces and shit, the longer you're in the space, the more you uncover knowledge, the more you uncover words and lingo, or the more you just be entrenched into that world, the more opportunity, the more aware you become, the more in depth you become. So over time you get better experiences from those things. Sometimes you may hit that one night stand that leads into that relationship, say if you fucking with the clubbing friend, but it's just the odds are not playing in your favor, versus when you fucking with some shit, you're going to go to certain things. You're going to like, say you play music, you're going to first you may go to guitar lessons. You might find a cute girl in guitar lessons, or say you may go out to different competitions and different little things where or seminars and shit, like, whatever. You might find like, just saying, it ain't even always about girls and shit. It might be a business partner. It may be a lifelong mentor you finally met that really resonates, and not on that bullshit, not just trying to be parasitic, or not really just looking out for their own game. They actually see you, and they're not just looking at their system and you as a pawn in their system. They actually see you as an individual and like, hey, I see this person in me, so let me fuck with this person. So